The White House is asking the United Nations to investigate an alleged chemical weapons attack over in Syria. There is video, which we are choosing not to show you. You've probably seen it. Bodies lying on the floor wrapped in white cloths. Sick children. There are bodies of more than a dozen children that we've seen. Activists say at least 130 people were killed when the government allegedly dropped poisonous gas near Damascus. Now, sadly, there are some estimates that have the casualties much greater. The Syrian government is denying all of these accusations. Joining us now is Four-Star General Barry McCaffrey, who is in Denver today to speak at the International Firefighters Health and Safety Conference, and you stopped in before. Thank you for coming in, General.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. And by the way, just to underscore, 1,300 delegates here from all over the world, the Firefighters Association Conference, health and safety. And, you know, we lose firefighters by the hundreds in 9/11. 19 just lost their lives fighting forest fires, meth labs all over the country. These are some brave people. So I'm going to talk to them about leadership, but also health and safety, drug and alcohol abuse, trauma. I'm part of CRC Health Group, so that's the other message we're getting out.
What are firefighters here in Colorado with all the wildfires you've had in the last 2 summers? We have such great respect for them and what they do every day.
Yeah.
And we just had a house fire this morning that the house is gone. People got out safely, though.
Yeah, day in, day out. They're out there. There's a million of them. You know, a bunch of them are volunteers. Probably 700,000, so they're really part of keeping America safe.
Well, aren't they lucky to hear from you today?
I'm glad to be with them, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Can we talk with you about some of the issues going on, starting with what's going on in Syria?
Yeah.
If these allegations are true, if they are being gassed, these people there, these innocent people, is this something that the U.S. would want to get involved with?
I hope not. You know, I think there's been a lot of discussion about red lines. It's hard for me to believe this was actually a government attack on the suburbs of Damascus using either mustard or VX. I've been working with these chemicals my whole life. It doesn't look like it. It looks like possibly industrial chemicals that kill people down in underground bunkers. But there's a UN investigating group there right now.
Right.
So it's very strange, the timing of this incident. But it's a tragedy. 100,000 people killed in Syria in the last few years.
Yes, and I'm glad we didn't show that video because it just breaks your heart.
Sure.
Let's talk about Egypt, too, because it's been a wild week there, and today is the day they say that former President Hosni Mubarak is going to be released from jail. Does this signal a big change? Another shift again in Egypt?
Yeah, no question. Egypt, hands down, the most important Arab country. I mean, Saudi oil, Persian Gulf oil is obviously crucial to us, but Egypt's the heart and soul of the Arab Spring in the Middle East. And it's a country that's been governed by generals wearing civilian suits since 1948. They've been incompetent and corrupt. So the whole Arab Spring, the hope for democracy is being stillborn throughout much of this region. I think the military are back in control, and democracy is unlikely to find fertile ground in many of these countries.
You used to be the U.S. drug czar.
I did.
And so Colorado's in a lot of conversations since we here passed the legalization of retail pot. Do you think once this all gets going here, they're still working out the regulations and exactly how this is going to happen, still against the law, the federal law, will the U.S. government come into Colorado? What's going to happen?
Well, it's hard to tell. You know, I called Attorney General Holder, who's a friend and been a first-rate public policy guy his whole life. I think this is a tragic mistake, policy mistake. 14 years in a row, we had adolescent drug use going down in America. 4 years in a row, it's gone up. A lot of that was medical pot all over the country. If it's medicine, then how could it be bad? So I think the message to Colorado and the state of Washington, to parents, pediatricians, school teachers, coaches, is in our family, in our school, on our sports team, we don't smoke pot, drink beer, or use ecstasy. You got a lot of that going on in a 9th grader, and you're in trouble. You know, we got, to pick a number you believe, maybe 20 million of us who have a chronic alcohol or drug problem in America. 307 million of us, most of us don't. But it's a huge social and medical problem in the country.
Do you think the federal government will get involved?
I don't know. The politics of it is, it looks like it's moving with huge political momentum in the wrong direction. A lot of decent people, moms, etc., have heard, will release people from prison by the hundreds of thousands. Almost nobody's behind bars for personal possession of pot. That's nonsense. So, the only thing I care about is adolescent rates of exposure to drugs and alcohol. If we can keep that down, then we can keep these communities much safer.
And you were talking about the meth labs, too.
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, those are so scary because you don't know what is going on the block away from you.
Plus, it's the worst drug that ever hit America.
Yeah.
It just destroys people. Their flesh melts away. Their teeth rot. You get some single mom working 3 jobs, and she starts using meth, and the next thing you know, street prostitution, and they literally unravel their personality. So meth is a huge problem. Most of it's manufactured in Mexico and brought up here. The mom and pop operations are still going, but that's not the bulk production of methamphetamines. But it's not just the United States, it's all over the world.
All over. And again, to the group that you're going to today, those firefighters have to deal with some of those very unsafe fires when they are called out all times of day.
Well, and they're also normally EMTs, so day in and day out, these men and women see traffic accidents that are just nauseating, fires, children who are injured. It's a very stressful profession. They get great training, they're volunteers, they're in good physical condition, but we need to make sure we stand behind them and deal intelligently with drug or alcohol abuse and trauma issues.
Well, thank you for coming in. Thank you for speaking to them today. We appreciate it. So nice to meet you.
Good to see you, Cal.
Yes, we'll be right back, everybody.